How'd the girlfriend hunt go? Exactly. Shut it. I'm the host.
Shout out to Josh Allen for completing. How many passes did he complete?
He did well. Mac Jones completed 2 out of 3.
Shout out to the New England Patriots for winning a game with only 3 pass attempts.
Shout out to Josh Allen for hitting my rushing over.
Shout out to Buffalo for having such crappy conditions that Josh Allen couldn't play well and therefore winning me my fantasy week.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. I am your co-host, Gordo Gambles, joined by this beauty of a man here, Kirode. And look at us. Look at why are you down that, bro? You can't. You know what the saying is, look good, feel good. We're looking good. We're feeling great. UFC slate. Check it out and take my money from me for free over there. But how are we feeling about this NFL slate?
Monday Night Football could have gone better. I mean, for us and for our fandom. But you know what? Playing in a blizzard is basically all we do up here in Canada, so we're feeling good this week. Could have gone better on Monday Night Football, but this is an exciting week. Playoffs in our fantasy football league.
You're not in them.
Huge UFC card. Go check out that video. But yeah, exciting races all around. It's an exciting time for football. We're getting into the end of the year. We're almost out of the bye weeks.
Last week of bye weeks.
Last week of bye weeks, which means as of next week, we'll have even larger slates with even more of those top-end price ranges.
We had an absolutely stellar Sunday last week. Dallas Goddard, love you to death. We made some good money, and I hope you guys did too, so let's not waste any more time. Quarterback position, what are we liking this week?
We've been saying it for weeks. Save a horse. There's lots of guys at the top of this price range that are great quarterbacks, put up good points every single week. I mean, you got Brady versus Allen this week. That's pretty exciting. But the guy that we like the most at the top of the price range in terms of quarterbacks is your boy, Dak Prescott. I mean, this is juicy right here. Dak Prescott, $6,700, $1,300 less than the most expensive quarterback, playing the Washington football team's secondary. I mean, that is a great matchup for him. Dallas has been doing well. They've been putting up numbers all year. So has Prescott, and we expect this to be a great week for him. So that's the first play that we really, really love.
Should have some options back out in the receiving end, so I really like him here. He's a great option. You want to go down low, someone who are liking a bit more for the cheaper option. I mean, Bridgewater's facing the Lions, who got a dub, so good for them. Potential there for him to do well. We talk about him quite a bit.
More wins than the Bills had this week.
Another person we're definitely looking at,
Jared Goff, MVP favorite after this past weekend.
Could be someone in Justin Herbert up top as well, facing the Giants. He's been electric recently. He can keep that rolling for sure. But the fade of the week is going to be the man, the myth, the legend, Ryan Tannehill. Tell us a bit more about him.
Shout out to another one of the reasons that my fantasy team is 2-11. But Ryan Tannehill, I mean, maybe the worst matchup of all time, going up against MVP favorite, the better Josh Allen. But yeah, all jokes aside, this guy's receiving core is not exactly the strongest these days. He's been struggling a bit, and even in his last time out against the Jacksonville Jaguars, he only put up, 13 points. So he definitely has the opportunity to put up big points here. But if you're going to pay for a quarterback in that price range, there's better options, we think, especially coming back off of a bye week. Who knows what kind of numbers Tannehill is going to put up? My fantasy team certainly does not. Moving right along to the running back position. Who's our first play?
There are so many very, very good options up top. Becker's been on fire, and I think he has a great matchup to do that again. Mixon, also mixing it up, doing pretty well as well. So I think he's got great options. A person I'm liking, I think, is flying a little bit under the radar this week. Could be someone in Hillard here, and I know what you're saying. We just faded the quarterback, but that's exactly why. They're playing Jacksonville. Hillard has definitely the opportunity to do very, very well. And something at a price tag of 5.3K, he's worth a shot. He put up 22 points against New England. He can definitely put up even more than that against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think he has an opportunity to do very, very well. Another person you could like could be someone in Chuba Hubbard. No CMC. Rest in peace to him. Sorry, I did not say that.
Rest in peace, CMC's ankles.
Yeah. Facing Atlanta, usually some high-scoring game, he has some options. But another person we're liking even more, let me get the right Williams here, is going to be Javonte Williams. No Melvin Gordon, he absolutely balled out, 32 points, facing Detroit defense. He has an opportunity to be absolutely electric. Fade of the week, on the other hand, is going to be his mirror image in the other Jay Williams. Tell me a bit about him.
Yeah, Jay Williams, read Jay Williams this week. And Jamal Williams is not somebody that we like as much. $5,500 for a running back for the Lions, who is, you know, a decent running back, but not an elite running back. And going up against that Broncos defense, we don't necessarily see him putting up big numbers. And for the same reasons, even though he is an elite running back, we don't necessarily like DeAndre Swift this week either. Coming back off injury and going up against that Broncos defense, we don't see their run game really having a ton of success this week. So both guys that we're going to stay away from.
All right, moving right along to the wide receiver position. And I mean, you cannot go wrong with Hill, Diggs, or Lamb up top. Three very good options. Lamb stacking, Diggs against Tampa Bay, and Tyreek Hill being Tyreek Hill against the Las Vegas Raiders. But if you want to look a bit further down, people we are really liking this week could be someone Hunter Renfrow once again, facing KC. He's been that number one option. He's been absolutely electric. But even further down, Brandon Cooks facing Seattle, but he's been pretty good, flying on the radar considering how bad his team is. Someone like Elijah Moore too. Corey Davis is hurt. He's a number one option. Scored really well last week and has the opportunity to do the same thing. Value this week though is going to be someone in Josh Reynolds, Detroit wide receiver, 4K, very cheap option, and man, is he getting targets. 10 points last game, 16 points the game before. He's becoming a very big part of that offense, and if Detroit wants to win a game, they're going to need to use him, so he's a very good option there as well.
Jared Goff out here actually completing passes these days, so there you go.
Also, a bit higher up, Jamar Chase. He has potential to be absolutely electric. I'm loving him in these final weeks of the NFL season. Fade of the week this week is going to be Tyler Boyd from the Cincinnati Bengals. Tell us a bit more about him.
Yeah, we don't love him as much this week. He's kind of becoming that third option behind Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, which means that he's not getting as many of those targets downfield. And at $5,000, there's definitely guys who we think can be bigger parts of their offense this week. Moving on to the position, starting off, hard to ignore a guy who absolutely went off last week in George Kittle. I mean, that guy put up numbers, so good option up top. Hard to go wrong with Travis Kelce also against that Raiders defense. Waller questionable this week, but if he's in, he could be an okay option too.
Everybody up top is looking absolutely phenomenal. I think you also have to acknowledge someone in Dawson Knox, who's in a perfect buy low situation after not doing very well in Monday Night Football. 5K, I think he has a big part of the offense in a very high scoring game with Buffalo versus Tampa Bay. If you want a value option, we're liking someone in James O'Shaughnessy. We mentioned him last week, didn't do as well as we expected, but he got 6 targets and he's going to keep on getting them, especially in a game versus Tennessee where they hope they stay competitive. I think he's going to have a much bigger role and do a lot better than the 2.9 price tag he does in Tampa. The fade of the week at the tight end position this week is going to be Foster Moreau. We expected him to turn into Darren Waller last week, and he definitely didn't. Only 3 targets, 1 reception. He did not live up to the hype, and especially with Darren Waller with the opportunity to return, he doesn't have that big of an opportunity to do well. Especially at 4K, you can get someone a lot better, like Noah Fant, like Dawson Knox at that price range, so stay away from him.
All right, moving on to the last position of the day, defense and special teams. Obviously, at the top of that slate, you got the Chargers up there at $4,300. That's getting a little pricey. We like the Broncos second there at $3,800, a lot more. Going up against Detroit, they did get their first win, but we don't expect them to necessarily be able to replicate putting up that many points again, especially against that Broncos defense. So $3,800, that's a good top of the price range option. The next one, kind of in the mid-tier, is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. Now, you might say, why would you ever support the Seattle Seahawks defense? But they're going against the one team that we've never supported, the Houston Texans. So, against Houston, we expect them to be able to put up some decent numbers, even though they are there at $3,100 with a weak defensive, even though they are $3,100 as one of the weaker defenses in the league. But if you want some real value, one team that we sneakily like are the New York Jets. However, that is with the clause that Kamara does not play. If Kamara is playing, we don't think that you should be taking the Jets defense. But if he isn't, I mean, New Orleans has struggled recently. Their record's not very good. They haven't been putting up numbers. Their QB situation has been all over the place. They they're a team that could definitely struggle, and at $2,500, the Jets could definitely be some decent value here. Going back up to the top of the price range, we talked about the Chargers being expensive, but we don't mind them too much. A team that we definitely don't think you should be taking this week is the Tennessee Titans. If you're going to pay $3,700, chances are you have the salary remaining to be at $3,800, and taking the Broncos against the Detroit Lions. Jacksonville, obviously not a very good offense either, but they could put up some points, and if you're going to pay that much, we just think you should pay up to the Broncos because we like that matchup a whole lot more. So that's the defense and special teams for the week. A little bit of a simpler week than the past few have been. It's been a little bit hectic, but we think we got our picks this week.
Yep, that's going to do it for us. Like we mentioned at the start of the video, check out the UFC video. Great slate this week for you guys to make some money as well, and some free money to give away, so check that out there. As for NFL, like we said, a lot of very, very high-scoring games. I'm looking forward to that Bills versus Buccaneers game. If you want to know more about who we're playing, specific lineups, or get any inquiries with the game, at GamblesBoard on Twitter, at PlaySpades. Check us out right there. There's a lot of money to be made, and I'm hyped for this week. A lot of great games. Let's hope you guys make some money. Cheers.